It is so good to see you with us right here on a TGI Friday evening. I'm meteorologist Michael Estime, and boy, we have a lot to talk about in the weather department, so we wanted to bring it to you live right here on Facebook. So a couple of big highlights. Number one, we have a big thaw coming up tomorrow. We'll also, of course, talk about the wind threat that we're going to be facing down late this evening and then through the day tomorrow into early Sunday. And then, of course, our chances for rain and storms along with that wind element to everything. So let's jump right on in and show you exactly what's going on. So January thaw tomorrow, our forecast high 66 degrees. Notice how close we are to record territory. Our record was literally set back 130 years ago in 1890 at 67 degrees. So this is a long-standing record. Should we at Cleveland Hopkins International Airport get at or above that 67 degree reading, again, we would have shattered our all-time record high for the day tomorrow in January. So we will watch for that. The other thing that we're going to be watching for are where our trash cans end up first thing tomorrow morning, because we're expecting a whole lot of wind to start off the weekend. In fact, how far might our trash cans end up? Well, let's put this into motion for you and show you what I'm thinking. Literally, wind gusts at times tomorrow will exceed 40 to 50 miles per hour, easily capable of basically taking your trash can and throwing it all the way down the street past the neighbor's yard. So if tomorrow is garbage day for you, it'll be really important that you have a secure fasten and lid on top of that garbage can. And because of that wind, the National Weather Service here out of Cleveland has issued a wind advisory. It'll go into effect first thing tomorrow morning on Saturday. It'll linger through Sunday late morning into the early afternoon. And as we mentioned, it'll be for wind gusts over 40 to 50 miles per hour. And notice that it does encompass not only Cleveland, but Sandusky, back toward Ashtabula, down toward Akron, Canton, all involved in that as well. So especially toward the coastline where there's really not a whole lot of friction between the open waters of Lake Erie and the land, at times that's where we see a high number of power outages. And keep in mind that if you have a couple of loose branches that you see up in your tree, or perhaps you have just weakly rooted trees, with all the rainfall that we've seen, that's really going to add insult to injury and again perhaps topple a couple of those trees. So please watch for it. Let's talk about timing. Notice that this is going to be 9 a.m. tomorrow morning as you're up and out the door getting errands done for your weekend. We're expecting winds sustained between 20 to 30 miles per hour, gusting well over 40 and pushing close to 50 miles per hour at times. Again, that can be dangerous winds. If you have any flights first thing tomorrow morning from perhaps the Akron Canton Airport or from Cleveland Hopkins International Airport, expect turbulence because it is going to be a very windy start. I think that through the day, we although may see some periods where that wind will die on down, I think that by first thing Sunday morning, that wind is going to re-energize and reinvigorate, and once again we'll see wind gusts between 40 to 50 miles per hour. So to say the very least, a windy weekend certainly ahead of us. It'll also be a wet weekend, and because of that, the National Weather Service has already issued flood watches. We call these aerial flood watches, just meaning area-wide, so it's not necessarily specific to a location as we're seeing here with a flood warning for the Killbuck Creek. But again, an aerial flood watch just means that anywhere in, say, Erie and Huron counties, depending on how much rain we pick up, if you get trapped underneath a thunderstorm in that specific location where perhaps that thunderstorm develops, we could see high waters and perhaps even some flooding. So please watch for that. That goes into effect tonight, and it'll stay in effect through Saturday. And as we mentioned, for the Killbuck Creek in both Wayne and Holmes County, it runs basically north to south through the major cities from Worcester down towards Millersburg. Again, that's a flood warning that'll be in effect through Monday. So any additional rainfall down toward that area will only exacerbate our flooding concerns. And duly noted too that over the past 24 hours or so, we've picked up anywhere between a half an inch to upwards of an inch and a half of rainfall, the highest amounts back in Erie and Huron counties. And you'll remember that the National Weather Service issued that flood watch in effect for Erie and Huron County. And this is really basically the reason for it, because we've already seen a ton of of rainfall over the past 24 to 36 hours, generally west of Cleveland. So this is going to be our favorite area for seeing flooding and high waters. Unfortunately, we could see some basements flooding. I know what you're thinking. In the middle of January, this is like the last thing that you think that we'd be talking about, right, is tremendous amounts of rainfall. This is more of a springtime event, and it certainly is going to feel like springtime as we move forward. Here's what the radar looks like as of your Friday night. So from Ashtabula through parts of Lake Geauga into parts of Portage County, all throughout Cuyahoga County. If you're joining me here, if you look outside your window, you're certainly seeing the light and at times some moderate rainfall. And it'll really be that steady stream of rain that we see for quite some time. What I'm going to do is head back to the computer just for a moment, and I want to overlay a couple of really interesting features here that'll kind of help better tell the weather story. And what you'll notice is that we are very much so not alone in this at all. In fact, this system is a behemoth of a system. And notice how large this system is, by the way. It stretches all the way back to St. Louis, Missouri. And notice on the northern end of this system, and I want to bring this up for a couple of different reasons, but on the northern end of this system, from Omaha, Nebraska through Chicago, Illinois, up toward Rockford, Illinois, and then the southern end there of Wisconsin, it's all a snowmaker. That snow should stay north of northeast Ohio, so snow, sleet, ice is not going to be a concern for us. What will be a concern for us is what this energy provides us. Notice all of that rain being forced up by the Gulf of Mexico, so a lot of humid air in there as well. You'll certainly feel that. And notice that from St. Louis down through just west of Memphis, Tennessee, and towards, say, Little Rock, Arkansas, and just west of that, that is a line of heavy showers and strong thunderstorms. We're expecting severe weather throughout parts of the deep south. Included in that, I think we'll see a lot of strong damaging winds, but not even, I think that one of the bigger concerns could actually be tornadoes in parts of Mississippi, Alabama, and then into Georgia. So if you have any travel plans down through, say, Atlanta, Hartsfield, Jackson International Airport, it's something that I really want you paying very close attention to. What's causing all of this? Well, it's a deepening area or strengthening area of low pressure, basically situated in eastern Texas. And this thing is going to be what brings us the additional rain, the additional wind, and again, that flooding concern as well, along with the mild temperatures. So this is going to cruise toward the east-northeast, and as it does so by tomorrow on Saturday, it'll eventually bring, again, not only showers, but also thunderstorm chances, and it's going to scoop up a whole lot of Gulf of Mexico moisture and heat, and it's one of the reasons why we'll be flirting with near record territory on Saturday in terms of highs. Any travel plans to Michigan or up towards, say, Chicago, Green Bay, Wisconsin, watch out, because that's where the snow element is. And I think that we could be talking about icing concerns in Metro Detroit, Michigan as well, if you have friends or family up that way. And then notice that by Sunday, this slug of a system slowly lumbers toward the east. Most of the energy is out ahead of that area of low pressure. So by Sunday afternoon, I think we can all then take in that big sigh of relief, because by that point, I think Sunday evening and then into Monday, things looking a whole lot better. But let's walk through it hour by hour so you know exactly what to expect. You heading out tonight on your Friday night, perhaps in downtown Cleveland, over through Akron, Canton area. Maybe you're heading out with friends and family in Ravenna toward Elyria and Lorain County. It's going to be a soaker of an evening, so please hang on to those umbrellas. We'll take you through first thing tomorrow. I think that we're relatively dry, maybe a couple of spotty showers dancing around the area before that energy from that low really gets here. But notice those temperatures. We're in the mid-50s to get things going first thing tomorrow morning. It is going to be a warm start. And notice what happens as we head into the afternoon. By around lunchtime, temperatures easily making it into the 60s. I wouldn't be too surprised if a couple of areas, I know what you're thinking, this is crazy, flirt with near 70 degrees. Again, it'll be a record-breaking day in terms of temperatures, but don't let your guard down, because I think that by tomorrow evening, that energy, those showers, those thunderstorms that we were just pointing out to you in Missouri towards St. Louis, that then arrives into northeast Ohio with a whole lot of wind. And as it does so, again, I wouldn't be too surprised if we saw a couple of thunderstorms capable of bringing down a tree, perhaps bringing down a couple of power lines. That's the type of strength that we're expecting, especially south and west of Cleveland. So parts of, say, Richland County, Ashland County, Worcester and Wayne County, Holmes County, heads up for you on that potential for some stronger storms. One of the reasons why is because the temperatures, the further south that you are going to be warmer, and that's going to provide that energy to get those showers and thunderstorms really fueling the fire and really get going. So through tomorrow afternoon into tomorrow evening, watch for heavy showers and heavier thunderstorms at times. That unfortunately could lead to flooding concerns, as we mentioned, especially in parts of Erie and Huron County. Already in parts of Worcester and Wayne County down toward Holmes County, we were talking about that flood warning along the Killbuck Creek. This is only going to exacerbate the flooding concern there, so we're expecting perhaps for the waters to spill out of the bank. So we say it 1,000 times, here's 1,001 times for you. Turn around, don't drown when you encounter flooded roadways, especially this season, given all the potholes and the cracks that develop in those roadways. They can become very unstable to drive on, especially when flooded. And then notice that by midnight on Sunday, as we cruise into your Sunday morning, a couple of spotty showers to get things going. But again, that sigh of relief that I was talking about, I think we finally see that by Sunday, mid to late morning and then into the afternoon. Winds, though, still going to be gusty, so we'll be fighting through the winds throughout the weekend. But to kind of put a big old bow on it in terms of our rainfall and how much more rain we're expecting out of the showers and the thunderstorms, anywhere between, say, a ½ inch of rain for parts of Akron down through Canton. Notice the higher amounts, especially in thunderstorms in parts of Cuyahoga County, an additional 1.5 inches, perhaps even pushing close to 2 inches up toward the islands. And that, my friends, is the reason why we have that flood watch that's out for parts of Erie and Huron County, because of all of that additional rainfall that we're expecting throughout the day on Saturday into early Sunday. So again, that'll be one thing that not only myself, I'll be watching, but Holly will be watching, Betsy, of course, Jason and Matt will all be watching this as this system develops here in Northeast Ohio. Let's get you through the next 10 days, and I'll walk through this day by day to show you what's going on. But again, it's going to be a really warm day tomorrow, so despite the rain, despite the wind, despite everything else, it's going to be warm, and boy, you'll feel it. So if you're able to take some time tomorrow morning to enjoy it before the rain and storms get here, please make sure to take advantage of it. By Sunday morning, again, a couple of spotty showers early. I think Sunday afternoon looking a whole lot better. We'll call for mostly cloudy skies to eventually become partly cloudy. And then your Monday and your Tuesday look phenomenal in Northeast Ohio. Keep in mind, low to mid 30s, that's our normal high. We will be way above that Monday, Tuesday, and then yes, even into Wednesday, when we'll peak at about 58 to 60 degrees. And then the bottom falls out, because by late next week and around this time next week, Thursday, Friday, we're talking about not only snow showers, but perhaps even, for my friends in our primary and secondary snowbelt, you'll like this, we're talking about lake effect snow showers, then perhaps kicking into gear. Again, once you start looking past day 5, 6, 7, and then into the 10th day, projecting out ahead, things get a little bit topsy-turvy, if you will. But generally speaking, we're trending toward a cooler middle to latter half of January here in Northeast Ohio. So a lot going on here in Northeast Ohio. If you want to stay up to date, you can always add me as a friend here on Facebook, or you can follow me on Twitter. Literally, if there's any warnings that are issued, again, there's a very slight chance that we could see a couple of severe thunderstorms develop on Saturday. Should any of those become severe, again, on my Twitter account, that'll be automatically populated so that'll keep you ahead of the storm system. And of course, I'm on Instagram as well with more weather updates for you. Thanks again for joining me here on Facebook Live. Feel free to share this link with your friends and family that might be kind of on the go and doing 1,000 things at once and might not be aware of what's going on here in Northeast Ohio weather-wise. Until then, we're wishing you an awesome Friday evening. I hope that you have a great weekend, that you soak up the 50s and 60s tomorrow before you soak up the rainfall. Look forward to seeing you on What's Next on Channel 3 News at 11. We'll see you then.